Welcome to Kyle Anthony's UFC betting show. I am Kyle Anthony and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the prediction show for UFC 235, Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. We're going to talk about our best play that currently is for purchase on Wagertalk. Link down in the description down below. I also have the write-up from my previous best bet winner also down there. So those of you that did make the purchase 2 weeks ago, Francis Ngannou was our best bet winner at plus 160. It was a fantastic winner for us. We all cashed in. Talked to a lot of you on Twitter. Definitely don't forget to follow me at Mr. UFC Vegas on Twitter. Have a lot of conversations there. We actually were talking a lot about the previous week where Thiago Santos fought. That was a winner as well for us. We gave out a free play there. Thiago Santos was a winner. So those of you that did make that bet as well with me, hey, we all won a little bit more there as well. And we're also going to talk about some free plays today. I have one free play that I want to talk about, but I also want to touch on a couple other fights here. This is a massive card, UFC 235. A lot of great plays. And also I have a prop bet or two I do want to talk about, so stick around for that. And as well, do not forget to subscribe. I appreciate any of you that do subscribe to this channel and those of you that are hitting the like button as well. It has been a great growth that we're seeing here, and all of you that do hit the thumbs up does help this channel grow, so I definitely appreciate that. Appreciate all you that are continuing the conversation down below, and again, after every video, I try to answer and continue to comment and communicate with the community here down below in the comment section, so I appreciate everybody, and we all talk during the event as well down in the comment section, so definitely be a part of the community down there. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the free play. Now the free play is between Cody Garbrandt and Pedro Munoz. We're going to get into this play here now. When I was looking and breaking it down, this was a play that I liked. Again, I'm going to dive into it, but there's another play that I do like that was actually a little bit more of a value play, and I want to talk about that next after this one, so definitely stick around for that. But the free play is going to be between Cody Garbrandt and Pedro Munoz. Now, in this fight here, you got Pedro Munoz, he's plus 148. You've got Cody Garbrandt, he's minus 162. Pedro Munoz is 17-3, and you got Garbrandt, who's 11-2. Now, obviously, and not to give much of a history on these two fighters here, but obviously everybody knows about Cody Garbrandt's boxing. I mean, that is something that he has really been able to showcase throughout his career. And he came off of 3 straight knockout victories, impressive knockout victories, even one against Thomas Almeida, who was an up-and-comer at the time, knocked him out. He had, out of those 3 knockouts, 2 of them were in the first round. I mean, he was really impressive the way that he was moving forward. And then he went out and he faced and got his title shot against Dominic Cruz. Now, Dominic Cruz at the time, coming off surgery and, you know, all these other things, and you know, the champ was, you know, a guy that was looked at as the Dominator, as his nickname, but was looking at, he was just dominating throughout the division. Nobody was really able to touch him. He was out there and really doing some great things for this division, really kind of putting the division on the map. Garbrandt comes in, a lot of trash talk, and what he did in this fight, I thought, was spectacular. I mean, he went out there in this fight and really fought calm, fought brilliantly against a guy who was very technical in Cruz. Went out there, used his jab, used his combinations. His footwork is fantastic. He's really able to move around the cage very well, and that's something that he is. He does come from Team Alpha Male. They are, you know, a wrestling camp, and Garbrandt has those wrestling background. He definitely has that, but he really, you know, has fallen in love with his boxing and his quick hand speed. Again, he's got some boxing background as well. But in that fight there, I mean, we don't have to dive into it. It was definitely a one-sided victory. Knocked down Cruz a bunch of times. He's dancing around, really showboating, and didn't even in moments, you saw he didn't get very emotional. You saw that he was very calm, very relaxed, very focused on the task at hand and his skills, and really believing in his skills, really allowing his skills to move forward throughout that fight. Even when Cruz got knocked down, Garbrandt didn't just dive on top of him and say, hey, you know, and he just was so calm, knew the task at hand, and let his skills really do the talking in that fight. Went out there, got himself the championship, and then after that, it was the bad blood between TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt, which is, bad blood is I guess, even saying it lightly, the way that these two guys went at it. And you know what? This fight, the first one, was a fight that I was at. I attended at UFC 217 at Madison Square Garden. An amazing card. But that fight, you know, you take a look at that fight, and again, the bad blood's there, the emotions were there, and you could see right away. Now, that first round, although it was, you know, they both were landing some shots, at the end of that first round, Garbrandt lands a big shot. And really almost, if there was even maybe another 40 seconds, 30 seconds in that fight, it could have possibly been over in that first round. But after Garbrandt knocked down TJ Dillashaw, that was when you saw the complete transition that I believe changed from that fight into their second fight. Because after that drop, after Cody dropped TJ, it was almost like he opened the floodgates, and Cody was just bloodthirsty to end that fight. He went out there, he was pushing, he really was almost, even when he gets overexcited and looking to really exchange toe-to-toe, he's throwing those wide his combinations get wider and wider as, you know, the emotions really start to set in. And from there, that's where TJ, quick hands, TJ is an elite fighter, was able to catch Cody's chin, drop Cody, finish the fight there. And then in that second fight, same thing. And I was a believer here that Cody was going to be able to really calm, be relaxed in that second fight, not be over emotional. And throughout that entire second fight, media and everything else, Cody was relaxed. Cody was absolutely relaxed. He was even talking about, you know, how relaxed he is and how all these other gets into the cage, and he does the exact same thing that he did the fight before, where he got right in there and he threw out all of his skills and just looked, he wanted the big knockout. He went in there, got emotional. TJ knew how to kind of push the buttons there on Cody, and again, didn't do anything for him. He goes out there and Cody loses the fight there. So that, just kind of recapping that really quickly, that just to me says a lot really about what's happening in this fight. And the reason being is you got Pedro Munhoz, who is the opposite of a talker. I mean, Pedro Munhoz isn't a trash talker. He almost doesn't talk at all. So this is a fight here that I think is more tailor-made for Cody Garbrandt to go out there and really showcase his skills. Now, I like that Munhoz, you know what, Munhoz, he went out there, he beat Brian Caraway in impressive fashion. I'm not that big of a Brian Caraway fan, to be honest with you. I'm not really a big fan of him. Munhoz looked good there, I gotta say. He did look good in that fight. Not big on Caraway. And then he beat Brett Johns. Brett Johns, I think, is very unimpressive. I think that he beat some lower level guys, lost against Aljamain Sterling, and then he lost again. So I don't really think Brett Johns is somewhat of an elite person. Then prior to that fight, he fought John Dodson, and it was a split decision, and he lost that decision there. But so he's definitely had some wins. You know, Pedro Munhoz definitely had some wins there, and you know, he's 17-3. He's fought some decent fighters, and he's kind of moving up. And there's no doubt that he's durable, and he wants to push forward, and he wants to get this to the ground. And he's got a very strong grip. Pedro's looking to kind of ragdoll you to the ground. But on the other side of that, you got Cody Garbrandt, who has 100% takedown defense. He is absolutely a killer when it comes to that, but he also makes you pay a little bit as well. So he's got those quick hands where he can push you off and start moving forward with those quick combinations. So in this fight here, I think that the low volume that's going to come out of Pedro Munhoz and really dictate this fight coming from Cody. Because if Pedro can't push the pace, if Pedro is not going to be able to really have that volume, get that output, if he can't get Cody to the ground, then if it's going to be a pure striking match, of course, you know, there's going to be opportunities. I think that Pedro can get in tight, try to get in some dirty boxing. But if he can't get Cody to the ground, because Cody is quick and his footwork is great, I think that Pedro's going to be a little gun shy when he's out there, and he's going to be standing toe-to-toe. And if Cody, once again, if he can stay calm, stay relaxed, not look to get crazy out there and start, getting very emotional. And this fight is the opposite of emotion. This is almost, the press conference between these two has almost been a snoozer. They really aren't even really saying much. Cody's kind of being very nice. They're joking around at when they were doing the stare down the other day after the press conference, and their smiles and their handshakes. So I think this is a great spot to bet Cody Garbrandt here. I like Cody. Minus 165, I think is okay value there. I don't think it's spectacular, but I think it's okay value there to place a bet on him. I feel good enough about it that he's going to be able to pick Pedro Munoz apart. So I'm going to be going, as my free play, will be on Cody Garbrandt to defeat Pedro Munoz in the, I guess it's just a main card fight. Now, the next one I want to talk about real quickly is another play, and this is a value play for me here. Now, the more and more I keep looking at this fight, the more and more I'm leaning towards the underdog here. And it is between Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler. Now, you got Ben Askren, who's minus 250. You got Robbie Lawler, who's plus 205. You know, Ben is, 18-0 and, been traded from one championship, and he's a wrestler and all these great things that he's done. And you can't knock it. He comes from a great camp. He trains with Tyron Woodley. There's a lot of great things that Ben does. But the fact really remains of what Lawler can do. And the fact that Lawler definitely has come off some losses. He was a champ for a while in the welterweight division. He loves to brawl, got big power in his hands. But if you really piece these two guys together, now Ben Askren has one way to win this fight. And almost Lawler has basically one way to win this fight. But Ben Askren has to take this to the ground. Now, there is without question that has to happen. We know and he may only need one time. I mean, that's the thing here, that he may only need one time to take Lawler to the ground and the fight could be over. But you got to look at how ruthless the sprawl is and the takedown defense of ruthless Robbie Lawler is. Because Lawler is able to not only push you off and be able to sprawl, push you off, but he absolutely make you pay. I know that even, I was saying before about Cody Garbrandt, that Garbrandt sometimes, he's able to make you pay with his quick hands. This is something where Lawler stops you, he's throwing elbows, knees, and uppercuts, and he's going to make you second guess coming back inside. Now, the big part also about this is that at one championship where Askren is from, the welterweight division is 15 pounds heavier. So I think that there's something to be said about that he's been fighting at that weight class, and it's 15 pounds heavier, and on the side of the fact that Askren was retired. I mean, Askren was almost, there was multiple sources. This is coming out a while ago that he was, he wished he could get into the UFC and wish he could fight there, but I'm retired. And then he's coming back in after this, and I'm sure the money was good, and one championship said, all right, we're going to ship him over there. We're going to get Demetrius Johnson, and we're going to see how this all pans out. And I think this is a terrible first matchup for Ben Askren. I think this is, a lot of people are saying, did Dana White kind of put Robbie Lawler as his hired gun to kind of give Askren that first loss, just because they're, a lot of the trash talking, a lot of the BS, and, the way that Ben has kind of talked about the UFC way in the past. I don't think there's any issues with them now, but he's not giving him a layup fighter. He's not giving him a guy that's not good at takedown defense or anything like that. Obviously, if Lawler gets on his back, that's going to be a bad spot for him. But I like the situation here. I think that the competition level has been completely different over both of their careers. I mean, definitely Ben has fought some good fighters. There's no doubt there's good fighters over there, but not to the caliber of what Lawler has seen over his entire career. He had a knee injury. They say that his knee is absolutely better. There's a lot of good things to like about Lawler. Now, if Lawler stays vertical and it comes into a striking match, of course, Ben is going to continually push for those takedowns. It is going to be just continually doing that. But if he's able to fend those off, Lawler is going to put Ben Askren's lights out. I don't see it any other way. Of course, Ben can do it, and if it goes to a decision, that means that Ben Askren has to literally take Lawler down 3 times. And that's laying on him for the duration of each of those rounds. Because if it's a stand-up round, Lawler's going to be able to probably win it by landing some shots and just fending off the takedown. So I like Robbie Lawler here. I think the price tag is good. I think plus 205 is a nice price here for a guy who is a past champion, maybe a little bit older, but a past champion. And he got Ben Askren, who was semi-retired not long ago. I like the price on Robbie Lawler. I will have some exposure on him. And like I say in all my videos, out of my allotted amount of money per event, 75, 80% goes on my best bet play, and then the rest of the 25, 30% is going on my free play, then on plays like this where I'm parlaying them, looking for value, and then looking to ladder my parlays to let the parlay odds work for me, and as well as the odds on the fighters work for me a little bit. And the other one I want to talk about real quickly was the prop bet that I actually liked. Now, there's 2 prop bets that I liked. One of them was on John Jones versus Anthony Smith. Now, we obviously, the world is saying that Jon Jones is going to win this fight, and, Anthony Smith has a puncher's chance. There is no doubt about it. It's a mixed martial arts fight. Anyone can land, anyone can end anyone's lights at any given moment in any fight. But you take a look at really what's going on here, and you've got Jon Jones, who's minus 850. You've got Anthony Smith, who is plus 500. And those odds have actually changed. I mean, I've seen minus 1,200, and I've seen Anthony Smith up to, plus 900. So I've seen it all over the place. It looked like it ticked down a little bit. But if you're taking a look at this and you like Jon Jones, who I do, I like Jon Jones here. I don't have any exposure on Anthony Smith. I do have Jon Jones in some, very small exposure and some parlays and stuff like that. But if you're looking at just placing a straight bet on Jon Jones, it's gonna have to be how the fight will end. And the prop bet looks fantastic. I mean, you've got TKO KO for Jon Jones is minus 105. Now, to me, those odds are off. I mean, I don't know how you make it minus 850, and then you got the knockout at minus 105. Obviously, they're thinking possibly, I don't even have that in front of me, but what the decision would be. But then you've got the submission victory, which is obviously Jones is very capable of that. But you've also got Anthony Smith, who is got jiu-jitsu background, so it's not like he's some slouch on the ground. But submission victory is plus 170. For me here, I think the prop bet, which I have a little bit exposure on the knockout for Jon Jones, I think minus 105 is great value for a fight that the odds makers are saying is very, very far away. So for me, over 5 rounds, I think Jon Jones gets the knockout. I think getting away from the minus 850 is good. You get away from that, you're able to lay, whether it's the same money or whatever you're doing, on the knockout. I don't see a submission victory here. I think he's just really going to outstrike him. I think the first couple rounds, you're going to see Jon Jones kind of feeling it out, kind of seeing, the barrage that Anthony Smith is saying he's going to be doing in those first few rounds. And then Jon Jones may be able to just pick Anthony Smith apart into those championship rounds. I see a late TKO knockout victory for Jon Jones. So I think the prop bet there is nice value. And the other one that I thought was interesting, let's see. The other one was on the Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz fight. I think there's a lot of value on this prop bet as well. The prop bet being, will the fight go the distance? Will it go the distance? And no is minus 225, and yes is plus 185. And for me here, Pedro Munoz is durable. Now, if you're going with my storyline of Cody Garbrandt and gonna win this, I do believe Cody Garbrandt wins this. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a knockout victory, but I could see him 3 rounds over this. And Pedro Munoz is durable. He's a tough fighter. He's gonna make it a little bit dirty at times. And I think, and that's going into the storyline again of why I believe Cody will win, is I think Cody's going to be a little bit more patient. He's not going to go out there and look to just knock out Pedro's legs. He would love to, but he knows how important this fight is for his career, that he needs to get this victory. He can't come off of 2 losses against TJ, then lose to Pedro Munoz. I mean, he's really going to take a big tick down in competition level. So I think this is such an important fight where he may take his time, look to pick Pedro apart, use his speed, use his footwork, outstrike him, outpoint him, have a nice performance. I think plus 185 is nice. I have a little bit of exposure on this. I just wanted to actually start adding some prop bets. If you guys have any prop bets that you like, let me know down in the description down below. I will definitely comment. And again, let me know what you think of those. Free play is on Cody Garbrandt. We are also going to be having a little bit of exposure as well on Robbie Lawler. So those are the free plays, the other plays. And for those of you that are interested, take a look down in the description. I have the link to Wagertalk, to my profile. The purchase is there for this event. Last year, 69% winner. Right now, we are well above that. We are going to continually push forward. So 2019 is looking just as good, if not better. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if it's helping you out, and I appreciate everybody who comments, likes, and contributes to this community. And I will see you at the Bet Review Show this Sunday. Stick around, and we will have that show for you guys on Sunday. Enjoy the fights, and we'll see how we do. Take care, everybody.